for standing committee night on March 15th of the Niagara County Legislature. And Chairman Nemi, go right ahead and call your meeting to order.
All right, I'd like to call the Administration Committee meeting of Tuesday, March 15th to order at 5:37. Looking for approval of the minutes of February 8th, 2021 by Legislator Brett, second by Legislator Virtuoso. Is there anyone not in favor of the minutes? Okay, those minutes are approved. Legislator Godfrey, would you like to call your committee to order?
Yes, I would. Thank you. I'd call to order the Community Safety and Security meeting for Niagara County on March the 15th, 2021. I'd like to have a roll call, please.
Legislator Hill.
Present.
Legislator Bratt.
Yes.
Legislator Gooch.
Here.
Legislator Nemi. We know you're here.
Here.
Legislator Mullane.
Here.
And Legislator Robbins is excused.
Okay, very good. Okay, I look for approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Motion from Legislator Hill, second by Legislator Mullane. On the questions for the minutes, we have no questions. If no one else objects, I will consider these approved. Any objections? The minutes are approved. Okay, first up on our agenda, the Sheriff Felicetti. Looks like we have quite a roster here. Go ahead and roll those, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up is a change order for Patriot Towers. That's for our tower that's going up in Lewiston. And it's an increase of $23,975 due to additional fill that's needed in that area.
Okay, I have a motion by Legislator Brad, second by Legislator Gooch. On the question. If I hear no objections, I will consider this approved, unanimously approved. Is there any objections? That is approved. Go ahead, sir.
Next is a lease agreement, excuse me, with Shawnee Volunteer Fire Company. And again, this is for the radio tower that's going there. It's $500 a year for a lease payment. It's a 5-year contract with a renewal 4 times 5 years each. So we're looking to enter into that with Shawnee Fire Company.
Okay, I have a motion then. Shawnee, well, that will be Legislator Gooch, and a second by Legislator Hill. On a question for that tower in Shawnee. No one objects. We'll move this to unanimous vote. Any objections? Hearing none, that is approved. Thank you. Moving on.
All right, we'll stick with radio towers. This is another one at Barker Central School District. Again, to enter into a lease, an intermunicipal agreement with Barker Central School. And this will be a 5-year term. And again, 4 renewable 5-year terms are in the contract. And the fee for this intermunicipal agreement is a lease of 10 portable radios, which is it's good for us to have them on the radio system, and it's an advantage for them to be on our current radio system as well.
Absolutely. I'm looking for a motion out there on the east side. Legislator Hill. I have a second for Legislator Mullane. On the question? No questions. If I hear no objections, a unanimous vote. We'll consider that done. Any objections? That one is approved. Thank you.
Next is a budget modification. We have a standing agreement with the town of Pendleton for additional traffic enforcement. This will be a resolution to accept $10,000 towards traffic enforcement that's dictated by the town of Pendleton.
Okay, in regards to that, Legislator Nemi, first on that, and Legislator Gooch, how about a second? Okay, any questions? Okay, if no objections for unanimous vote, do I hear any objections? Then that was approved. Thank you. Looks like the next 3 are accepting grants. If we could bundle those all 3, please.
Yes, sir. This next is a budget modification. It's our RSAT grant for our substance abuse pod in the jail. We have an extension on this grant. What we want to do is move the money into this budget year in the amount of $41,149. Next up is the motor vehicle theft and insurance grant in the amount of $20,000. We're looking to accept that. This is a reoccurring grant that we use for investigation of motor vehicle theft. And next is the Stop DWI Foundation grant. This is additional funds that our DWI coordinator was able to get a hold of, so in the amount of $8,000. And this will be shared amongst police agencies during specified crackdown periods throughout the year.
Okay, great. I have a motion from legislator Bratt, seconded by legislator Nemi the second. Any questions? We'll move these under unanimous consent if I hear no objections. Any objections? Thank you. All three of those are approved. Thank you. Now, it looks like the next two, both of those have to do with the jail. Let's do those together, please.
All right. We put an RFP out for phone services in the jail. It's for inmate phone services. We went through the RFP process, and using the scoring matrix provided by purchasing, we'd like to award that to Securus Technologies. It was a better product, better commission back to the county, investigative tools, and a good management system overall. The other is contract for food management services. This is actually for the jail and for Office for the Aging. We only received one bid, and that was Trinity Food Services. That's who we currently have, and we're both very satisfied with the service and the pricing for our meals here at the jail.
Okay. Got a motion, first motion for legislator Mullane, second by legislator Hill. On the question. Okay, no questions, so we'll move this under unanimous consent. Unless objections, do I hear any objections? Those two are approved. Thank you, Sheriff. Anything else from the Sheriff's Department?
I'm all set. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I'm going to turn this over to Legislator Nemi for the Sheriff's resolutions for his committee.
Okay, the first item is the Patriots Tower change order. I have a motion by legislator Bratt, second by legislator Godfrey on the question. Anyone opposed? That carries. Item B, I have a motion by legislator Godfrey, second by legislator Virtuoso. On the question?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead, legislator Virtuoso.
Sheriff, you said the lease agreement with the fire company was $500 a year?
That's correct.
I'm looking at the contract and it says $5,500 a year.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I misspoke on that.
Well, why are we paying them $5,000 a year? Most of the companies fire companies are letting us do it for nothing, aren't they?
No, there's an annual lease with Upper Mountain, and there'll be an annual lease anywhere we put this.
I thought a lot of them weren't charging us.
No, we pay to be on site.
Yeah, there have been some negotiations, like with Terry's Corners. We agreed to compensate them for the things they needed there in exchange for the tower at Terry's Corners. So there's always some negotiation.
Okay, all right. I thought we were doing it for nothing. They were doing it for nothing. Okay.
That would be great if they did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I misspoke on the price.
That's all right. I'm here to catch you. Don't worry.
Thank you, Dennis.
Are there any further questions? Anyone opposed? Carried. The next item under the administration agenda is item G, which has to do with the Barker Central School. I have a motion by legislator Virtuoso, second by legislator Collins. On the question, anyone opposed? That carries. And then we go up to item C. I'd like to make the motion on that, and I have a second by legislator Grosio. On the question, anyone opposed? That carries. And then we have the three grants, items D, E, and F on our agenda. I have a motion by legislator Grosio, second by legislator Brett. On the question, anyone opposed? Those carry. And then the last two are items H and I. I have a motion by legislator Brett, second by legislator Godfrey. On the question, anyone opposed? Carried. Legislator Godfrey, continue.
All set? Okay, moving down the list to our district attorney. I guess with us tonight is Donna Chase. If you want to cover those resolutions for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So first up, we have the Motor Vehicle Theft and Insurance Fraud Prevention Grant Acceptance. This is a continuing grant we get every year, and it's just been refunded in the same amount as last year for the 2021 calendar year.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion for legislator Nemi, second by legislator Bratt. On the question? Hearing no questions, under unanimous consent, if I hear no objections, we'll move this. Any objection? Hearing none, that is passed. Thank you very much. Crime Against Revenue Program.
This is also to accept another year of this grant, again, in the same amount of funding that we got for 2020 for the calendar year 2021, $68,810.
Okay. I got a motion from legislator Gooch, second by legislator Hill. On the question. Moving under unanimous consent, do I have any objections to move the motion? Hearing none, that is approved. The next two are committee approval only. If you review those, we'll pass them both together.
So the first one is just we're requesting permission to apply for a criminal justice discovery reform grant. We were just notified that we're eligible to receive up to $938,000 and some change to recover costs that the county incurred involved in the implementation of discovery and bail reform mandates that took effect January 1st. So we're still working out the details with the Department of Criminal Justice at this point, going back and forth.
Okay.
And this funding also is partially to include law enforcement agencies that incurred expenses, as well as the crime lab and probation.
Okay.
The second one is request permission to apply jointly with the Center for Elder Law and Justice and along with the Sheriff's Department for an Office of Violence Against Women grant. The entire program would be up to $400,000 over a 36-month period to establish an elder services, elder abuse program in Niagara County. And this would provide would be headed up by the Center for Elder Law and Justice, and then we would partner with them.
Okay, fine. Got a motion then from legislator Mullane for those approvals, second by legislator Bratt. Any discussion? We'll move by unanimous consent if no objection. Hearing none, those are both approved. Thank you very much, Donna. Legislator, you want to do these for your committee?
Okay, Administration Committee only needs to act on items A and B, and we will bundle those. I have a motion by legislator Godfrey, second by legislator Virtuoso on the question. Anyone opposed? Votes carry. Legislator Godfrey?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up here for community security, we have our public defender, speaking for the Defender's Office, Alan Rossetti. We have
Hello.
one resolution here for a grant fund.
Yes, the state would like us to move our unspent money from last year into our budget for this 2021.
Okay, I have the motion from Legislator Hill on that one, second by Legislator Gooch. On a question. No questions, we'll move that by unanimous consent if I hear no objection. Hearing no objections, that one is approved. Alan, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm gonna just take those next
You're
four grants from probation. We'll do those first, Legislator Nemi, and then we'll do all those 5 on your committee. John Schicchetti, probation. Review those grants for us?
Yes, Legislator Godfrey. We have, the first one up is the permission to renew a grant extension for our task expansion program. It brings in $88,066. They provide basically pretrial release services for individuals on interim probation. The next one is for the Employment Focused Services Program. That's a grant that we partner with Niagara County Employment and Training on. It brings in $216,044. It funds a probation officer and a employment and training counselor. And what we do is, with that grant, is we provide cognitive behavioral interventions and employment services with the goal of getting individuals employed in good paying jobs. The next one is our Alternatives to Jail Detention Grant. That brings $109,917. That covers approximately 70% of our pretrial release programs, our program in Niagara County. So pretrial release services are required by the state. So that's an important grant to have. Otherwise, we'd be out on a limb trying to provide those. And the last one is to renew the Raise the Age reimbursement. We're expecting up to $474,591 to reimburse us for the cost associated with providing Raise the Age services for juvenile delinquents, juvenile offenders, youthful offenders, and that about covers it.
Okay, great. A lot of money there, but desperately needed. Thank you. On all 4 of those, we'll bundle those. I got a motion then from Legislator Brett, second by Legislator Hill. Any questions on those 4 grants? Hearing no questions, we'll move those by unanimous consent, unless we hear objections. Hearing none, those 4 are approved. Thank you, Mr. Schicchetti. And one more grant. We'll bundle that one more grant and item number 8 under conflicts. Council, Kathleen Kruger.
Good evening. Thank you, Legislator Godfrey. We're just asking that the funds that were appropriated to our office from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services just be reappropriated to this year, those that weren't expended last year. That's for the total of $6,889.30.
Okay. I have motions from Legislator Nemi, second by Legislator Mullane. Any questions? Again, we'll move that by unanimous consent unless I hear objections. Any objection? Hearing none, that one then is approved. So Legislator Nemi, we have 1 public defender, 4 for probations, and 1 for conflict counsel. If you want to move those, thank you.
First one up is the public defenders. I have a motion by Legislator Virtuoso and a second by legislator Collins on the question. Anyone opposed? That carries. With probation, I believe that was just looking for approval through Community Safety and Security. Administration does not need to act on that.
Agreed.
And number 6, Conflict Attorney's Office. Have a motion by legislator Collins, second by legislator Grozio on the question. Anyone opposed? That carries. Thank you.
Okay, back to Community Safety and Security. Fire Coordinator Jonathan Schultz, we have a vehicle agreement.
This is for transfer of basically City of North Tonawanda has a vehicle that they've been utilizing since early 2000, basically just transferring full ownership over to them as they've been using it.
Okay. I have a motion then from legislator Bratt, seconded by legislator Gooch. In regards to the vehicle, have any questions? Moved by unanimous consent. If there's any objections, hearing none, that is approved. Thank you, Jonathan, and thank you for all your hard work out there with our vaccines there. Great job. A lot more to come. Okay, we have under new business, Katie Alexander. We've got a couple local laws there. Let's review them one at a time, please.
Sure. There's the adoption of the local law and the local law. There was a legislation passed in 2019 by New York State that allows counties to create local laws to enact a demonstration program for liability for failing to stop at a school bus. So the cameras are placed on the school bus stop signs, and once a violation is found, then they can be ticketed through a procedure that's set forth by the county and the company that's awarded the school bus stop arm camera services RFP. So the local law and the adoption of local law that is in front of you is, if you've seen other ones, is similar to a lot of the other counties that have previously passed these legislations. It basically enacts the program and allows the county to enter into agreements with either the school district, if they own their own buses, or with the school bus companies to put these cameras on these school buses. It then also establishes these fine amounts, there's definitions and liabilities. The way the local law was drafted, it was to provide enough flexibility for the county so that depending upon the company that will provide the service of this actual school bus stop arm camera, will allow for the flexibility for the long term to create and continue that program.
Okay, it's been a long time coming, all about protecting our children are those that feel they can break the law. So with that, I hear a motion then from legislator Bratt and a second from legislator Mullane. On the question. Well, hearing no questions, unless there's objections, we will move both of those by unanimous consent. Any objections? Hearing none, they are approved. Katie, thank you very much for that. Like I said, it's a long time coming. Hopefully that will save lives and slow people down. That's all I have on the agenda. I'll turn that over to legislator Nemi. And first, I will then adjourn my committee. I have a motion for adjournment from legislator Hill and second by legislator Gooch. On the question? All in favor? Opposed, if anyone? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Legislator Nemi, you're up.
All right, now we're looking for legislator Gooch to open up the community service committee.
Thank you, Chairman Nemi. Thank you, Chairman Godfrey. I'd like to call to order today's Community Services Committee meeting on Monday, March 15th at 6:02 p.m. And can I start with a roll call, please, Lisa?
Yes. First up, Legislator Gooch. You're here.
Here.
Legislator Demi.
I'm here.
Legislator Bratt.
He waved.
Okay. Legislator Godfrey.
I'm here.
Legislator Myers.
I'm here.
Legislator Mullane.
Here.
Legislator Speed. Excuse me. Okay.
Okay, does that
And
complete
Gary
the roll call?
Lasowski's here.
Okay, does that complete the roll call?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. I'd like to ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes for the February 8th, 2021 Community Services Committee meeting. Could I get a motion by Legislator Nemi? Second by Legislator Godfrey. On the question, are there any opposed? And the minutes are carried. Okay, next up, Public Health. Do we have a representative from Public Health tonight?
Yep,
To
Vicki
speak.
Pearson is here. Our first resolution is a request to accept medical reserve corps funds of $10,000.
Okay, can I get a motion by Legislator Bratt? Second by Legislator Myers. On the question, are there any opposed? Any objections? And that's carried. Thank you.
Okay, second resolution is requesting to approval to reappropriate opioid prevention funds from 2020 to 2021 in the amount of $11,875.
Can I get a motion by Legislator Mullane? Second by Legislator Myers. On the question. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion is carried. On your last.
Okay.
Your last.
Yeah, our third resolution is an abolish, create, and fill. I'm not sure if the agenda sheet got changed. It should not say upgrade, but it may. But the resolution should read correctly. So we're requesting to abolish a vacant speech pathologist position because we have not been able to fill it and we didn't have the need this year either. But the children are taken care of by agencies outside of county staff. So we're asking to abolish that and create an accounts clerical 3 position. This position is needed to keep track of our inventory. We have inventory in 3 buildings and 4 trailers. And everybody has a little piece of it and nobody knows the whole story. We also would like this person to oversee our contracts and to be a backup for payroll and accounts payable. And that actually is a savings to the county of $26,613. And that balance, we're asking for it to be put for COVID support.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sure.
I just have a question. Down the road, once the COVID is hopefully behind us, will we need a speech pathologist for the children in the future? And if so, will we continue to use the services that are being provided at this point?
We will continue to use the outside agencies. Right now, the way the system changed a few years ago, those agencies now have to do their own billing, where we used to have to do their billing, pay them up front and bill. So it's actually better for the county because those agencies, we don't pay them anymore. They have to go out and build insurance by themselves.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we get a motion from Legislator Godfrey? Second by Legislator Nemi. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Chairman. Could I ask that this be contingent upon union approval? I was not able to reach anyone just to make sure that the union was on board with this abolishment. Is it okay to put that in there, please?
I don't see a problem with that contingency. I don't know if there's any other questions or anybody else has any issues with putting that contingency in this.
This is Joe Provino on behalf of Peter Lodes from Human Resources. We have the ability to abolish and create without union approval. We notify them upon abolish and create as a professional courtesy.
I understand. I'm just asking that we just add that into it, please.
Okay, understood.
Any other feedback from the committee on this? So it's more of a courtesy than anything you're asking for, Mrs. Mullane?
Yes, sir. Under the union contracts, we have the ability to, under our management's right clause, to abolish and create any positions. And we notify the unions upon professional courtesy, and it's up to the department head and the union and us to work together to realize what's going on. So it's really a professional courtesy beyond anything else.
So I can't add that I'd like it to be contingent upon union approval.
There's really, to be honest with you, legislator, there's really no union approval rights under the collective bargaining agreements for any of our contracts. We have the ability to abolish and create, and it's really a professional courtesy for the union.
I understand that. I'm part of a bargaining unit myself. I just like to make sure that we're not abolishing a position that we might need down the road, especially if we're going to outside agencies. I just want to make sure that their membership is okay with it.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, just jumping in on that. We've always had it set where they've done this professional courtesy. This is precedent. It's already been set in the way business has been done. I don't see a reason to change the way things have been done since inception. It's my 2 cents.
Can I just say something? I agree with you. I met on your committee, but it's going to go to administration anyways. So I might as well bring it out now. But yes, we have the right to abolish and create, but we don't have the right to contract union work out either. So I think Elaine's got a little point there that maybe we should get the permission from the union before we get agreements on this, because you can abolish and create, but you can't contract their work out after you abolish the position. So I agree with Elaine. I think we should get some permission there just to make sure that we don't get a grievance on this and have to back pay.
Sorry, but this is Vicki. Can I just make a comment? We only, our staff, the county speech pathologist covers a very small amount of children. We have contracts out for about 500 agencies and agency providers out there. It's not like we cover most of the children with our staff, and we do not. our staff is basically used for rural areas. It takes much longer to drive there and take care of the children. So the agencies don't want to do it because it takes up too much of their time. But most of our children are serviced by agencies, not county employees.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor.
Can I just say one thing, guys? Sorry,
Any other
Mr. Chairman,
Sure, go ahead.
just one thing. On this, like I said, I have no problem with us having a dialogue with the unions, but it shouldn't be where we're asking permission, but we definitely should have dialogue with them. That I will agree on.
Thank you.
Okay, again, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any opposed? No opposed? This is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to mental health.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Laura Kellerman. We have one resolution in front of you guys tonight. In the governor's executive budget, he is recommending a permanent 5% reduction in aid to localities. That is the state aid for Office of Mental Health, Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse, and Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities funding that is administered by our department. This comes at a time when there's been a 30% increase in calls to crisis services, a 45% increase in opioid overdoses, a doubling of overdose fatalities. This is obviously the exact wrong time for a permanent 5% cut to be enacted. With the passing of the federal aid, it's anticipated that there would be plenty enough funds in the state budget for us to not suffer that 5% permanent cut. So we're calling on the legislature to request that the governor and the New York State legislature commit to fully funding the state aid moving forward so that we may preserve our safety net programming and services to the people who are in most need.
Okay, I get a motion by Legislator Bratt, second by Legislator Godfrey. On the question, are there any opposed? Okay, carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to Department of Social Services.
Thank you, Chairman. This is Megan Lutz for Social Services. We have two resolutions tonight. The first is an abolish and create positions. We are looking to abolish a full-time assistant social services attorney and create a part-time attorney. The reason for this really is twofold. We have this position posted for continuous recruitment on the county website, and most recently posted for a vacant position in November. 3 individuals responded to the posting, 2 withdrew their interest, and the third failed to show for an interview. So after that, we revisited our legal department and reevaluated the duties and feel that our department would be better served with a part-time attorney position. This would be a savings in 2021 of $20,000 for the county. And over time, it would be about $10,000 annually.
Okay, can I get a motion by Legislator Myers? Second, Legislator Mullane. On the question? Any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you. And our second resolution is a budget modification for our Child Care and Development Fund. These are federal funds that come to us to meet our federal requirements to register and certify daycare centers. We contract out these responsibilities to NIACAP, so this would be just accepting and then appropriating those funds to NIACAP.
Okay, can I get a motion by Legislator Bratt, second by Legislator Myers? On the question, any opposed? And that is carried.
Thank you.
I believe that's all you have. Okay, thank you, Megan. All right, Office of the Aging.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Darlene DiCarlo from the Office for the Aging. And I just have one resolution tonight, and that is Sheriff Filicetti already brought this up in the other committee. So this is working with the Sheriff's Department for the contract for food management services for the Office for the Aging and the Niagara County Jail. We received one bid, and it was a sealed bid, and there was one bid from Trinity Food Services, and we have been working with them right along, and we're quite happy with the meals and with the service that we're provided with. So I would like approval to enter into a new contract with them beginning on July 7th, 2021.
Okay, can I get a motion by legislator Godfrey, second by legislator Bratt? On the question? Any opposed? And that is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. You're welcome. Thank you. Is there anything for the good of the committee? Anything for the good of the committee? I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn by legislator Nemi, second by legislator Bratt. And that concludes the Community Services Committee meeting tonight. Thank you.
All right, administration will pick up on public health item 7A. Have a motion by legislator Grosio, second by legislator Syracuse. On the question, anyone opposed? That carries. Next item up, 7B. Have a motion by legislator Syracuse, second by legislator Brad. On the question, anyone opposed? That carries. Then item 7C, I have a motion by legislator Bratt, second by legislator Godfrey on the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. Moving to mental health. I have a motion by legislator Godfrey, second by legislator Virtuoso on the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. And social services, item A, I have a motion by legislator Virtuoso, second by legislator Collins on the question. Anyone opposed? Carries. And item 9B, I have a motion by legislator Collins, second by legislator Grosio on the question. And that anyone opposed? That carries. Item 10 from Office for Aging, I believe was already taken care of when we passed the resolution in the Sheriff's Office. So we will now continue on with Public Works, Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you, Legislator Nemi. At this time, I'd like to call to order the Infrastructure Committee meeting at approximately 6:20 p.m. And first order, I'd like to have a motion from Legislator Myers to approve the minutes and a second from Legislator Bratt. Anyone not approve? Motion carried. Thank you. First order of business is from Parks Department. The first one is the property transfer, the Day Road approval. I would, at this one, I'd like to make the motion that this property has been declared surplus. And we're going to give it to the town of Lockport. So to make a motion on that with a second from Legislator Hill. Anyone have any discussion on this? Okay, is anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. Then next, I'd like to turn this over to Mr. Gaston, if you're available, to handle item B, please. Or I'm sorry, either Mr. Gaston or Mr. Neal.
It's Mr. Gaston. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
The Oppenheim entrance relocation. The realignment project is for if the state is reconstructing the boulevard, and this is for approval for the work that will be done to move the entrance to the Williams Road red light.
Okay, thank you. And I have a motion for Legislator Myers, a second from Legislator Bratt. Anyone have any questions on the question? Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. Then the next are all park events. We're seeking approval for, I believe there's about 11 items there. So Mr. Gaston, if you could just go through them briefly, and then I'd like to move those all as one slate, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Yes, the Pirates Festival. All these are returning events. It's actually glad to see them returning after all the year of shutdown. There are no new ones here. Everybody's booked their dates.
Okay, so if anyone want to take a look for Crawl Park, West Canal Marina, Oppenheim Park, and Clyde Burmester Park, does anyone have any questions regarding any of these returning events? Glad to see them returning. Hopefully we can get out and get a little more this year as things move on. Okay, in that case, I have a motion from Legislator Syracuse, a second from Legislator Grosio. Anyone not in favor? Okay, motion is carried. And then I believe, Mr. Gass, maybe that's information about the seasonal applications.
Yeah, seasonal application. This is just informational for everybody. We're starting to accept seasonal applications for the parks, golf course, and the highway department. We're definitely looking for some college kids and some kids that want to work. Must be over 18 years of age.
Good, if you can find the kids that want to work, that's great. Appreciate it. Next one, building and grounds. I believe that be also yours, Mr. Gaston.
Again, thank you, Chairman. Yes, this is a change order to take the contract for the courthouse abatement one more year. The work's taken a little longer than we anticipated. It's a registration fee with the state of New York.
Thank you. I have a motion from Legislator Myers, second from Legislator Bratt. Anyone have any questions on the question? Okay, is anyone opposed to item 4A? Hearing none, motion is passed. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gaston. You're done for the evening. Okay, next up, we have engineering approval. First up is the final payment. Mr. Allen, if you'd like to address that.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This is a final payment to the consultant for a bridge bearing project. It's to decrease the contract to $1,475, which is to close your contract out.
Okay, everyone always likes to deduct. I have a motion from Legislator Hill, second from Legislator Syracuse. On the question, any questions? Okay, hearing none. If there's no objections, I'll assume the motion is carried. Anyone against it? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. The next one, please.
Yes, we'd like to submit 3 bridges and 5 culverts to the Bridge New York program. So we use a local design service agreement method to select a consultant, and we have selected Clough Harbor Associates for $18,000 to make the application for us for the bridges and culverts.
Thank you. I have a motion from Legislator Grosio, second from Legislator Myers. On the question. Is anyone opposed? Anyone? Okay, motion is carried. Appreciate it. Then next one, item C, Mr. Allen.
Yes, we'd like to accept the state agreement for the funding of the redesign of the Rapids Road project for preliminary engineering and right-of-way incidentals for reimbursement of $600,000.
Thank you. I have a motion by Legislator Bratt, second by Legislator Hill. Anyone have any questions? Hearing none. Anyone opposed to this? Again, hearing none, motion carried. Okay, next one, the informational one. If you'd like to address that.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chairman, our department was recognized by the American Public Works Association, both by the Western New York branch and the State of New York branch, for the job we did on the Tonawanda Creek road rehab and slide repair. It's just an award to our department for a large project well done.
All right, thank you. I would just like to add to that. I appreciate the work, and I'm sure other legislators do as well, and the county residents, all the hard work you guys do. There was a release from Kevin Schuler, our Nutter County PIO, on March 9th addressing this, so I'd like to see good things and awards like that. We appreciate your hard work. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Steve. Yep, thank you.
Okay. Now, next up is the responsible bidder questionnaire. I have a motion from, also in favor, motion from Legislator Grosio, second from Legislator Bratt. On the question. All in favor? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. And I would just like to thank everyone involved in this responsible bidder questionnaire. I know you spent a lot of time on it. We had Norm Allen, Garrett Meal, Dave Copeland, Claude George, Legislators Grosio, Virtuoso, Rick Uptergrove. So I appreciate the work getting this done. So hopefully this will be of use in the future. Okay, the last one would be a,
Chairman?
yes,
Chairman, you forgot the highway award, road striping and roadside vegetation.
I try to speed these things up. Apologize for that. Next up, number 6, Dean Lapp. If you could address that, please.
I'll cover this for Dean, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
This is our
Great, thanks.
annual materials bid. We take pricing from contractors in the area to stripe our roads and to spray for the weeds in select areas. This is just a award of those 2 contracts.
Okay, thank you. I believe we can take both those at the same time. I have a motion from legislator Syracuse, second from legislator Grosio on the question. Okay, hearing no questions, motion will be passed unless anyone has any reservations. Okay, motion passed. Then the last one, trying to speed things up a little too much here, I guess, would be the information return from Mr. Allen, projects to be let.
We have 3 projects out for bid right now. Sunset Drive, it's a full replacement of all the crossroad culverts and to mill and fill the entire road from Upper Mountain to Stone. The second one is a hot water heat exchanger bid we're doing for the Leonard County Jail. And the third project out for bid now is the bridge at Bear Ridge Road over tributary to Tonawanda Creek. We're putting a new lining inside of that existing bridge to save the taxpayers some money instead of replacing it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allen. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any other information?
Mr. Chairman, this is Dawn Tim. There are also 3 other projects to be let that I wanted to make the committee aware of. The first is the RFP for household hazardous waste services. It's our intent to continue with events this year in some capacity, whether it be the voucher program or events or both. The second is our environmental contract for the Lockport landfills. And the last is a solar land lease agreement for the Lockport landfills for each of those 3 sites to identify if there is any revenue generating potential to a land lease if we agree to a 25-year agreement for the placement of solar panels on top of the landfill. And that is it.
Okay, thank you, Don Tim. I appreciate that. And other than that, is there any other information for the good of the committee? Okay, at this time, I'll be seeking a motion from Legislator Hill and a second from Legislator Syracuse to end this meeting. Anyone opposed? Motion is concluded, or I'm sorry, meeting is concluded. Thank you very much.
All right, according to our administration committee agenda, out of all the infrastructure resolutions that appear tonight, we only have to act on 2 that came out of Public Works. Item 10A was the bridge bearing and lubrication project. Council final, have a motion by legislator Grosio, second by legislator Syracuse. On the question, anyone opposed? Carried. And then the second one was the asbestos abatement and floor abatement change order number 5. Moved by legislator Syracuse, second by legislator Brad. On the question, anyone opposed? That carries. That now moves us into economic development. Do we have anyone from economic development on the line?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Amy Fisk with Economic Development.
Go ahead.
The first one, A, is budget modification is just to reappropriate the remaining EPA Brownfield Hazardous Waste Assessment Grant funds. And the budget modification just actually accurately reflects how much grant money we have remaining for 2021.
Okay, I have a motion by legislator Bratt, second by legislator Godfrey. On the question, anyone opposed? Carried. Next item.
The next one is the same thing, except it's for the EPA Brownfield Petroleum Assessment Grant, and we're just carrying over our remaining grant funds to 2021.
A motion by legislator Godfrey, second by legislator Virtuoso. On the question, anyone opposed? Carried. And the last item?
Thank you,
I
Mr. Chairman.
believe Andrea.
Yep. Hi.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Just asking the committee to approve application to the Office of Community Development to replenish our microenterprise grant fund.
We have a motion by legislator Virtuoso, second by legislator Collins. On the question, anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. And then
Thank
next
you.
up will be the Board of Elections.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Allen here. The first item we have is a budget modification. We're asking to approve a grant that we received for cybersecurity and assess other items that for cybersecurity in the amount of $119,056.
I have a motion by legislator Collins, second by legislator Grosio. On the question, anyone opposed? Carried. Next item.
And the next item is the approval of the voting machine agreement with the school districts that we have every year for them to use our machines.
I have a motion by legislator Grosio, second by legislator Syracuse. On the question, anyone opposed? That carries. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else for the good of the committee? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn by legislator Syracuse, second by legislator Virtuoso. All in favor? This meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Get out the information for next week's virtual meeting, and then maybe we'll be at a point we can get back to in person.